through effective coaching. She's a thought leader, author, speaker, and personal development coach.
Over 26 years now, and I have worked in nursing homes, hospitals, rehab facilities, schools, and currently I have a private practice located in the Washington, D.C. area where I primarily work with school-aged youramazingnow.com. Again, ownyouraamazingnow.com. And so there is a button up there to say join the movement, but more information.
And visit Vegas places. I want to welcome all my guests here. This is a good Friday right here. This Friday, of course, as you know, Mother's Day is coming up. So this is a special Friday for me. And we bring it in on Sunday is the 8th, which is Mother's Day. The 8th is one of my youngest boys' birthday. And also 8 represents new beginnings. So I want to dedicate this session to women and mothers across the world. To me, whether if you have children or no children, all women are mothers to the nature of life. And to nourish a new beginning, most of the time that starts with a leader. And the guest I have today represents that leadership through effective coaching. She's a thought leader, author, speaker, and personal development coach. I have with the guest today is Dr. Denise Moore, owner of the Own Your Amazing movement. Thank you for joining me, Denise. How are you doing today?
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I wanted to also say I am a May baby. My birthday is May 10th.
Oh, May 10th. Yes. Happy birthday. That's good. And then also, audience, I want to say that Dr. Denise is in Maryland. So this is the 9th edition of Vegas Ventures Office. We are in Maryland. We are covering states, baby. We're getting it covered. So she is in Maryland. How are you doing, Denise?
I am quite well. Again, just excited to be here to have this conversation with you today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And we're going to get into it. It's a lot that you do with women of the culture, women in general. I love it. I read up on it. One thing I want to just get in right away with you being an effective and empowering women through personal development coaching, not to forget a speaker and a best-selling author. Can you define your background and let us know what is a speech language pathologist? What is a therapist? Can you let us know their purpose?
Oh, absolutely. So I am a speech language pathologist or speech therapist, as most people know us by. I've been doing that for over 26 years now, and I have worked in nursing homes, hospitals, rehab facilities, schools, and currently I have a private practice located in the Washington, D.C. area where I primarily work with school-aged children. I work in charter schools, public schools, just providing therapy for children who have difficulty speaking, whether they may stutter or they may have a hard time getting their sounds out, or they may have problems with their language, meaning understanding words or following directions. So I am the person that kind of goes in to help support them so that they can, achieve academically in the school setting.
Oh, that is beautiful. And then also you're involved with the school setting. That is most definitely. Now it makes sense how you help clients discover their voice, like literally their voice.
I
And
literally
yes,
do that.
right, literally, right. And then it's funny because I can relate. My son, he's the teenager, which is he's in the 11th grade going through the 12th. So he's 15. And I can remember when he was born, he had the little talk with us. He used to everything in his speech. But I remember we had to keep training him, keep talking to him. So it was a lot of work involved in it. So could you let us know about the process and the work and some of the, techniques that you use?
Oh, absolutely. And again, it depends on the child, the client. I've worked with infants from birth to geriatrics. So it kind of depends on the age of the person, but also the condition in terms
Mhm.
of what the treatment might be. But
Okay.
more importantly, the aim is just to help the person to communicate. Whether
Right.
it's orally talking. In some cases, I've had to teach a child, sign language. With some
Mm.
kids who are nonverbal, we bring in we call assisted technology devices just to help them to communicate. In my office on the wall, I have a quote that says, communication is the foundation for the human connection. So
That's
as
right.
human beings, the ability to communicate is vital.
Right.
So I try to make sure that I help the person to communicate. Yes, we want people to talk, but for some people, that may not be the best modality for them to communicate.
Mm,
But everyone wants to express themselves. Everybody wants to be heard. And
right.
so my job is to help to empower that. So again, specific strategies would depend on the case in which I'm working on. But the bottom
Okay.
line, again, my goal is just help people to communicate, to find their own voice, right? So
Right.
I literally help people find their voices. But when I work specifically with women in empowerment, I help them to find their lived expression. How do they show up in the world? We all have a voice. We all have a
Right.
way that we show up and speak and carry ourselves. And so it's important that we do that in a very authentic way. And so being able to take what I literally do, as a professional in terms of speech therapy and translate that into helping women to do the same has just really been an amazing journey for me.
Oh, good, man. I love it. Now, and then you have a long experience of 25 years experience. Now, with you saying that you own also the business and doing it, I want to ask you something, and also on that side, which is the other side of the map of us, do you see a higher percentage of women, small business owners, and that you're dealing with a lot of women and empower them? Do you see an uptick in it, as far as per se, I could say compared to 5 years back? And do you see that rising?
Absolutely. But I don't think it's rising enough
I got you, of
or quick
course.
enough. So a lot of the women who come to me for coaching, it is to really to help them to start their business or even to transition into something they may be more meaningful. Most of my
Right.
clients are senior level in their positions. I work with attorneys and doctors and directors and things like that who've been on their job or in their career for many years, but now they feel like, hey, I want to do something different, but how do
Right.
I make that transition? How do I
Mm,
step into something that I'm passionate about, but not sure I have the skill and the knowledge to do? And so my job is to convince them that, hey, you got what it takes to do it. Let's just go do it. And so, but
right.
I just think we need more women to do that. And so I'm just about empowering women to go after whatever their amazing life look like for them. And for every
Ooh,
woman, it's
that's right.
different. For me, many years ago, it was stepping out and starting my own business, starting my own practice. I
Right.
felt like that was what I was not only purposed to do, but just driven to do as well.
Right.
People thought I was crazy because I resigned from a good job. I ran a department. I had a staff that I was responsible for, and but I quit. I
Right.
resigned to start my own business because I was crazy enough to believe that I could do it. you know? And so I was like, I'm a bet on me.
That's
And
right.
so I tell women, bet on you because
Right.
I say your companies has these companies, these jobs have hired you, they pay you well because they know you can deliver. And so when I
Mm-hmm.
thought about it one day, when I was working at this particular company, one of the people who did the pay did the billing for the school, right? She said,
Mm-hmm.
"Did you know your department makes generate the most money for the school?"
Mm.
I said, "We do? I didn't know that. You don't say."
Right.
So I got to thinking, like, hey, if I can do this for them,
Right.
what can I do for me?
That's
You
right.
know?
That's right.
And so I said, I'm going to give it a try. And I would always tell myself, if it doesn't work, you can always go back and get a job. But that was
Mm-hmm.
17 years ago. And I haven't been back since.
I love it. Now that's a good story right there. Because
Yeah.
anything's possible. You just have to do it. And if
Yeah.
you don't know how to do it the best way, the Lord gives you all the resources He does. You have to communicate it. It's not going to fall in your lap, of course. If it did, we would have different kind of success stories. But
Right.
you have to go get it. Per se, me, I wouldn't expect me doing this show,
Yeah.
podcasting. Me being a year in, coming from my background, also a corporate background, also before that music, I never had a clue that it was all built up to do this. And then
Right.
learning from both back, and not even that, before I did it, I was scared. I was. I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I didn't even know if I could even get guests. Because at that time, I thought the level of how I knew my show was, I didn't think that I can attain those kind of people that I was thinking. And that was my mind fighting against that. So it is attainable. You just have to do it. I commend you on that. My hat goes off to you, Dr. Denise.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Now, with that being said, and also with my story, that's finding yourself, which is also identity, which you speak a lot on. Now, could you let me know, is there a strong correlation between one's self identity and the identity of their business?
Oh, absolutely. That's a good question. I've never been asked that, but it is. They correlate. They go hand in hand. Because here's the thing I tell people: you will never rise above what you think about yourself.
Mm,
We think that it's important what everyone else thinks about us. No, I say the most important relationship is the one that you're going to have with yourself, not your
right, right,
spouse, not your parents, not your children, not your boss, but how do you relate to yourself? So self identity is foundation. When I start working with my clients, the first question that I ask them is, who are you?
mm,
Who are you for you? Not who are you for what the world says you are or who
right,
these people think you should be, but who are you for you? So the power of identity is so important, but so many people miss it. And that's
right,
why they're unhappy, they're miserable, they go into jobs that they hate, they go into a job that someone else told them they should do,
right,
not
right.
the one they want to do for themselves. And so I read a statistic that said over 80% of the people hate their jobs. That is so sad to me. That is so
Yes,
sad because we spend so much time working and you spend so much time doing something that you don't love, that doesn't
true.
light you up, that you're not excited about. It's because you didn't take the time to say, well, who am I? What am I passionate about? What am I good at? How do I want to serve the world? How do I want to show up? Right. And so who you are ties directly into who you present yourself to in business and to the world. So I'd like to tell the story
Uh-huh.
that
Go
when I
ahead.
started my practice,
Oh
so
yeah.
I started my practice and I have a brick and mortar. So I was getting the office space set up and I had different people to come in to, set up the cable and
Mm-hmm.
the internet and all these things, right? So the guy came in to set up my internet. And so he said, would you like me to install a television in your reception area?
Hmm.
And I said, no, thank you. I don't want a television in here. I said, I
Right.
want books. I'm an avid
Mm,
reader. I love literacy. I'm going to be working with young children. I'd love to see a mom sit there in the waiting room and read a book to her child. This might be their
right.
only story time, right? So that's what I want. That's what I'm excited about. And he was just insisting, like, other offices have TVs. I was like, well, good for them,
Right.
but I don't want one. I don't want a TV. I don't want a TV in my office. And
That's
he
right.
kept asking me, do I want a TV? And I said, no, don't ask me that again. I don't want a TV. If I wanted a TV, I could get a TV.
Oh man.
So I said that when I started my business, I was going to set it up the way I wanted to set it up, the way that's going to make me happy, because I was clear on who I am and the kind of
Mm.
space that I
Hmm.
wanted to create. And I wanted to create a space where people came in there and felt comfortable.
Right.
They felt comfortable to sit, to
Uh,
talk, to laugh, to engage with one another. And I felt like a
right.
television was going to take away from that. And so I
You're
was
right.
very clear on the space I wanted to create for my clients. And so, but it took me saying, like, what do I want? Not what everyone is
Mm.
expecting me to have, or even how I do my business. And
Right.
so, again, I work with children. I tell the parents, from jump, you're going to hear a lot of laughing and talking and singing because we're going to be in there having a good time
That's right.
because
That's
I
right.
want to have a good time. I want to show up and have a good time. And I'm proud to say just yesterday, I was
Mm-hmm.
working with a young girl. She's probably been coming to me about a month now.
Mm.
And her mom said to me, she loves coming here. She said, you're
That's
good
beautiful.
at what you do. And she said she absolutely loves coming here. And I was like, that's my job to make sure she's comfortable, to make sure that
Right.
this is a great experience so that I can help her to achieve the goals we're reaching for. But to answer your question again, yes, it's vital that you know who you are so that when you show up in the marketplace, you're showing up as the
That's
authentic
right.
you. and not
Man,
how everybody else thinks you're supposed to show up.
that's right. That's right. I love that story with the bookcase and the TV. It kind of reminds me. There's a quote I have on my right here too. I'm looking at, and
Hmm.
I quoted it from. I love Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant. I listen to him
Hmm.
a lot out there, and
Yeah.
he said it's always going to be an accident when you place a couch where there's supposed to be drive.
Mm, yeah.
It's a strong one.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
So I keep that and I look at it, and he is
Yeah.
correct. So yeah, we have those options, and we can
Yeah.
proactively decide our fate when we listen. Sometimes it's to ourselves and him. Now,
Absolutely.
with the success in helping other women find their voice, and you founded your the Own Your Amazing movement, great movement. What influenced you to start a movement as opposed to just selling the merchandise?
Oh wow. You ask great questions.
I
love it.
think,
I love it.
hey, you remember my voice? I told you I found it while finding it, right? And I
Yes,
had to
I love it.
study. Right?
It's so good. I love those questions. So
Hey,
I was on this journey of self discovery, just
okay.
really trying to find again fulfillment, happiness. I had levels of success, but I still felt empty, unfulfilled. And
Mm,
so with that, I was reading a lot of books, attending different retreats. And so about 6 years ago, I went to Dallas, Texas for a weekend retreat.
okay.
And so the Friday night that I arrived there, I went out to dinner with one of the ladies who was also attending the retreat. So we just
Mm,
had the dinner, getting to know one another and all that
okay.
good stuff. So the next day was the actual retreat with the coach. And so the story goes that each person that attended had an opportunity to come to the front of the room so that the coach, the facilitator, can kind of pour into them
Hmm,
and get, coaching at that point, right?
right.
So the other women who had gone before me, and they were up there crying, carrying on. I'm like, why are they crying? What? This is what I'm thinking, sitting in the audience, like, why are they crying?
Right.
Okay, whatever.
What's going on?
What's going on, right? And so then it's my turn.
Mm.
And when I tell you, as soon as I sat down in the chair, I started crying.
That was definitely the hot seat.
I mean, just boo hoo. So the facilitator was like, Denise, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I'm not happy. I need to find my life. I need to get my
Mm,
life right?
right,
And
right.
so, I try to gather myself. And so the young lady who I had gone out to dinner with the night before, she raised her hand and said, I know what's wrong with you.
Mm,
And I was kind of like thinking, like, you don't know me. We
right,
just met.
right,
I'm on
right.
this journey. How do you say you know what's wrong with me? That's all I'm thinking, right? And so I said, oh, okay, what's going on with me? And she looked at me and she said, you're smart, you're talented, you're brilliant. She said, you're all these things. She said, but you don't own it. She said,
Mm,
you need to
mm,
own your amazing and
mm.
stop playing small. I was
Right,
like, oh my God, that's
right,
it.
right.
That's it. Oh my God, that was it. People in the room, even people started crying, and like other people, like I got chill bumps because it was just like that was it. I know
Right.
that was divine. I know that was God telling me
That's
that's
right.
it.
That's right.
You need
That's
to own
right.
your amazing. Stop apologizing for who you are. Stop criticizing yourself for who you are. Own who
Right.
you are, and that we are divine, amazing creatures created by God. And she was like,
Yes.
just own it and stop pretending that you're something other than you're not. And
Right.
so she helped me to language what I had been feeling. I knew there was more for me to do. I knew there was more for me to say. I knew I needed to show up more
Mm,
powerfully in the world than I had, right?
mm.
And so what
Right.
happened was I went back and I started sharing this message with other women. And
Right.
I was like, because I know so many amazing, brilliant women who are playing small, who are doubting
Right.
themselves. They don't see their value. They don't think they're
Right.
worth the love. They don't think they're worth having the life they always dreamed about.
Right,
And so
right.
that's how the movement started. It is a movement. I'm trying to revolutionize women to
That's right.
feel that they are empowered to really create a life they love. So it's about owning your amazing, it's like owning your life, owning who you are, owning your dreams, owning your empowerment, standing for yourself, and just
Yes.
living authentically. And so that is the movement. And so it's more than a t-shirt. I tell people it's
Right.
more
That's
than a
right.
slogan.
That's
It's
right.
more than a message. It's truly a movement. And again, this started 5 years ago, and the message is spreading. I just got back, a month ago from speaking in Paris,
Good
France,
job. Good
about
job.
this because I want this message to be well known. I want women, not only I have men who own my platform too, who come,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I'm really about women
Right.
really owning who they are and creating lives, not that they're tolerating, but a life that they love, that
Right.
they get up thinking about and are excited about. And so
That's
that's
right.
why it's a movement and not just
Right.
about
That's
merchandise.
right. So, audience, you hear that? That's is Dr. Denise, and with the Own Your Amazing movement. She is amazing. Again, for Mother's Day, which is coming up this Sunday, this Friday, I know you guys are all listening, aspiring entrepreneurs. You need to connect with Dr. Denise. If you're on the verge of thinking, should I do this? What's stopping me? If you have ideas, if you just need that one step to take, and you need that encouragement. We're here to
Mm-hmm.
let you know that you're not alone. If you have to get it through me, I'm letting you know you're not alone. This is the reason why we are here broadcasting this. One thing I want Denise to enlighten on is when, say, for instance, if anyone or specifying even a woman was to contact and get on your website to join the movement, what could she expect when she joins the movement?
She can expect, first of all, to be supported. I believe in just, being there to support a person, but also I'm big on accountability. I think a lot of times
Yes.
we don't hold ourselves accountable.
Right.
We let ourselves off the hook too often. And so I created a community that's going to provide support, but also that accountability, that push, that little extra like, now you said you wanted to do this, right? Okay, let's go
Right.
get it. And
That's
so I
right.
just think that accountability is such an amazing piece to help women to really show up more powerfully for themselves.
All right, I love it. Now, we're gonna get into a little more personal before I let you out, before our time run out, so we can kick
Okay.
back a little, break the ice, and we're gonna get into this or that. I'm always got to find out from my guests what do they like personal on their leisure time, either this or that. And you give me a preference of either or. And then afterwards, we're going to get into a little very, very Vegas. I see how very, very Vegas you are. It's not a right or wrong
Okay.
answer. It's just, to educate our audience on the history of Las Vegas.
Okay.
Okay. So get into this or that. We have for Dr. Denise Moore, we're going to see now for a side dish from a holiday platter. If you was to wake up and have just one bowl of a side dish, do you prefer a bowl of cabbage or a bowl of collard greens?
Ooh, cabbage.
Cabbage. There you go. Okay. Yes. Especially
Oh
when they're
yeah.
cooked right. Yes. But it's weird. I eat
Oh
collard
yeah.
greens in the morning too. My kids and my wife think I'm crazy. But I eat it. Now she's starting to, because I tell her it makes you feel different. Like when you eat greens in the
Mm.
morning, it makes you feel different. And I didn't notice it until I started doing it in the morning. I solely eat a bowl of greens
Uh-huh.
in the morning, and my body functions different. It digests different than as opposed to eating eggs or a regular traditional breakfast. So I
Oh,
try to do the greens.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I'm a little more
Okay.
hungry after the bowl of greens, because my body's used to the meat. So if I'm a little more hungry, I try to go behind it with like some fruit, like some oranges or anything to fill it up. And then the water do the rest. So yeah,
Oh,
it changes.
awesome.
Yeah. You're
Awesome.
thinking, you think different too. I was telling my wife, you kind of think
Okay.
different. Yeah. So,
Well, is that I'm not a big collard green person. I like turnips
mhm.
and kale. So does those
Okay.
greens work too? I can eat
I
that in
like
the morning too?
mix. Yes, they
Okay,
do
good.
work. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I like a
Okay.
mix. So I do have the
Okay.
mix too. I love mix, so I get it mixed.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right. Now, the next one, this or that. When you're at home lounging off work weekend, do you prefer sandals, flip flop type, or you're the house shoes type?
Ooh, I like flip flops.
Flip flops?
I
Oh,
do.
I judged you wrong. I judged you as the furry house shoes.
Oh no.
Yeah, I did.
Uh-uh.
Yes. I'm like, she's too corporate. She definitely has the house shoes with the fur on it.
Oh no, I don't like those.
You see how men are?
I like the flip flops.
That's right.
I like,
Okay.
I
So
like, I
the
like, I like the socks. I like in the wintertime, I like the
okay.
furry socks, but not the
Mm,
house shoe, the big fluffy house
okay.
shoe. No, give me
Okay.
some flip flops.
I can get in and out. That's right. All right. So the last one we have is when you go to your favorite Mexican restaurant or taco shop, are you team red sauce or team verde green sauce?
I'm not a big Mexican person. I don't
Okay.
Chipotle is all I can do in terms of Mexican.
Yes.
Is that
So you
considered
don't get no
Mexican?
sauce.
Right.
I mean, out there it is. I'll just put it like that. Out there it is. Remember, you're in D.C. You in Maryland. Yeah. but but
Right.
yes,
I don't do
what the
Mexican.
what they call it, the DMV area. I always hear that about that. The DMV. What is
Yes,
that? What is the
the
DMV?
DMV,
Like when they say in that
Washington
area.
D.C., Maryland, Virginia.
So is that a
Uh huh.
certain area? Because I hear we say when I used to hear, I'm like, why is he talking about the DMV? Like the Department of Motor Vehicles. Why do they keep talking about them? And I never put it together. And I used to always wonder because like I said, I listen to Jamal Bryant, and he's out there. He's always mentioned DMV. I'm like, why? I'm not. Do they have something that going on with DMV? So why is DMV so popular out there? And then I'm looking at the news. I'm hearing them say, yeah, in the DMV area. I'm like, hold on. What's DMV? What is going on out there with DMV? And now I feel so when I'm thinking the whole time it meant the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. I know. Don't tell anyone. I know
That's
those.
so funny.
I and
Yeah, I didn't think
I
about
never
people.
shared.
People.
I never shared that with nobody. You're the first one I shared it with, and I never knew. I always thought like, okay, why are they always saying DMV? So like probably
Yeah,
something out here. If we was to say something, you guys are probably like, why are you calling it
right,
that? So that's why we was like, why are you calling it
right.
DMV? What is Department Motor Vehicle? Do they own that state? Like, so now I understand. But is that a zone? Because like that is you guys are really like big now. Like nobody used to hear about that. Now I'm hearing about it. You know what I mean? It's real big. What's going on out there?
It's not a specific area, but it's kind of like the Northern Virginia
Okay.
area, Washington D.C., and
Okay.
then like Baltimore. The areas that's close to Washington D.C. Basically, it's a
So you
DMV.
guys are like one big together, all together. You guys are like a Voltron. You're separate parts, but together you're a Voltron.
Right.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right.
I love it. I love it.
So, all right. So, our next one, we're going to see how very, very Vegas you are. I'm going to take it light on you,
Mm,
okay? We're going to
okay,
see
please
now.
do.
Yeah, I will. So, this one, very educational. What was the first motel and casino built on the strip? The first one. Take a shot at it. Think
Um,
old school now.
the flamingo.
Ooh, that was a nice one. I had a good one for you on the flamingo one, but you gonna go with that one?
No. Oh, I don't want to say
See, you're
VMGM.
thinking new strip. You ain't went old school. That's the new strip. See, the
Okay.
old strip. You forgot about old Vegas, Fremont.
I've
That's
only
the
been to Las
first.
Vegas one time.
Oh, see, we gotta get
I've
you
only
out
been
here, Doc.
once.
We gotta get you out here, Doc. We do, and we're gonna take you to a nice real taco shop when you come. Yes.
What's the name of it?
Okay, so the name of the hotel was El Rancho. That's the name of the first motel and casino built.
Oh,
I'll give you the stories. Known then as Highway 91, The El Rancho was built on the road leading to Fremont Street. Prior to this, Fremont Street was the center of
Mm.
action in Las Vegas. The El Rancho, however, was very successful as there was plenty of room to build, plenty of parking, and it was built just outside of the city boundaries. This way, it was not subject to strict restrictions or taxes. That's weird, but it was the only one out here. And I look at certain pictures out here, I'm like, dang, they really had a dream. You
Mm.
know, the like who
Yeah.
will build an entertainment building in the middle of nowhere and not think that it will
Mm.
come to this? Even how it was formed, like the wickedness is stored up for the righteous. So when you
Right.
take that out about it and think
Yes.
that if they can see, even if they didn't see the other side of life how they were supposed to be, what they did build, they planted the
Mhm.
seed to something that it was the opportunity of the ones that come behind it to do right, because
Yeah.
we're all not here forever. We all have our season, but what are we
Mm.
doing in our season? And
Yes.
that's very important. Yeah, that's very important. Dr.
Mhm.
Denise, I don't want to run our mouth. I need you to give all your social media handles. Let everyone know where they can reach you, follow you, and visit you on your website and join the movement also.
Absolutely. So the website is ownyouramazingnow.com. Again, ownyouramazingnow.com. They can go there and get information about the movement, learn more about me as well. Facebook, I'm at Dr. Denise, Own Your Amazing. Instagram, I'm at Dr. Denise Moore. Um, I think that's about it.
Yeah. Let them know what's the website again, so all women that are listening that will love what they're hearing and want to join the movement. What is the website and what actions would they have to do?
Sure. It's ownyouramazingnnow.com. Again, ownyouramazingnnow.com. And so there is a button up there to say join the movement. But more information, a couple of blogs, some other podcast information as well. I'm going to be adding a button really soon. I just started a private Facebook group for women who are really serious about um, owning their amazing, really getting clear about who they are and how to create an amazing life. So I'm going to be adding that to the website as well so they can learn how to join the private Facebook group. So in there, I share information I don't share with, just on my regular pages. And so definitely more intimate setting, more intimate content. And so I would love for your audience of women who are really serious about changing their lives and transforming their lives to join the movement
Right.
and to join the
Yes.
private Facebook group.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. And I thank you for taking the time out to join us and sharing your wisdom with us, Dr. Denise. Thank you. And again, own your amazing. Own your amazing. You have to own it, you guys. You heard her. Thank you, audience, for listening. I know you guys could have tuned in anywhere. You chose to be here with us. And if you want to connect with Dr. Denise Moore, remember I have all of her links in the show bio. Look into the bio. You can click onto the links, goes directly to her page. Okay. Dr. Denise, thank you. All right. And I'll
All
talk
right,
to you
thank you.
again. All right. Thank you for joining us. I love you. You take care. And I'll talk to you later. Thank you guys. Visit Vegas Places with Coil. I see you guys next week. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.